Our next speaker is Sherry, and she also is speaking on gardening. And the title of Sherry's 5 to 7 minute speech is Things I Have Learned About Life from My Garden. Please join me in welcoming Sherry.
Good morning. Okay, so I'm on location now because I thought it would be a lot of fun to share the outside with you. My name is Sherry Ortiz, and I am not a master gardener. I actually used to kill all of my plants. It was really hard to keep anything alive more than 6 months. So with some trial and error, I can actually keep most of them going and kind of realize that plants are a lot like children. They need to be fed and tended to. You can't get them too cold, can't get them too hot. So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to spin this around, and I hope I won't get you too dizzy because this is the important part of all the speech. There's my house, my deck, my garden, my raised beds, all the way around, and big planter beds outside. Woo! Sorry. So my garden is basically my yard outlined in raised flower beds. And I randomly throw in flowers, tomatoes, azaleas, very, very random. Peonies, stargazer lilies, the whole works kind of thing. And I like it that way. I like it all mixed up. And as I've kind of gotten into the garden thing over the last 5 years, I've realized that they're way more work than I ever thought they would be. But in the process, when I stop and sit on my bench, I've come to realize that they do teach me a lot about love, life, and patience in the world. My garden teaches me hard work. I built those raised beds, all 135 feet of them by hand from scrap lumber from a previous deck. And yeah, they're a little wonky. Yeah, they're a little off and they need some repairs, but I love them. They're mine and they work for what I need to do. My garden also teaches me patience and optimism. Every year is a new adventure with how things work, what plants, what dirt, what tilling, what not tilling, how many weeds I get, all the things in between. It teaches me the patience to keep on plugging through and to keep trying new things every single year. I have the deck. It's an old deck. It needs repaired. It actually needs replaced. But this year, with the cost of lumber being so incredibly high, that's not going to work right now. So I'm going to power wash it, restain it yet again, and it teaches me how to reduce and reuse and recycle and save my pennies for another day when the cost of lumber isn't going to be so high. My garden teaches me to accept failure because every year is that new adventure. And despite all my best efforts, I still can't seem to grow bell peppers. I don't know why, but they just don't grow very big. They just get this big, and that's about it. My garden teaches me anger management. It's nice to go out after a good rain and yank up all the weeds if I'm grumpy. You can be hard and fast with it. You can take your time and plod through it, grumble and complain about whatever life is bothering you. And in the end, you realize that those things you weren't complaining about really weren't that important. And you get this lovely garden left over with no weeds, and everything will grow better in the end. It's also a great place for escape and meditation. My garden teaches me anticipation, to sit and wait and enjoy, but don't rush it. Everything is always rushed, especially with kids. I can't wait till they're older to do this, and this we can do this. Where with flowers, you don't want to rush it. You just want to wait and enjoy it and take time for that moment. And in particular, I have peonies that are very special to me because they were dug up from my mother's house. She had them for years and I just couldn't bear to part with them. So after she passed away, we took those flowers and distributed them to myself and my siblings. And so now we have those flowers across 3 yards. And every year we exchange photos and say, hey, check it out. Mom's flowers are blooming. And it's a lovely way to share the memory and have a good time and moments with mom, even though she's still not here. I like to make art for my garden. I like to make dragonflies out of fan blades, painted bowling balls, painted rocks, things like that. And when somebody comes by to visit, and if they see a rock they really like, I send it home with them. We get to share the joy. So they go take it and put it in their yard, and they have more of their art in their own yard as well. Art process teaches me to sit still and feed my soul. So then afterwards, I can also sit and enjoy the art and learn how to take that moment away from life's hustling and bustling to enjoy the art as well. My garden teaches me to share. I have bunnies. I don't get to keep my strawberries. I just share them with the bunnies. It's just entertainment value, and it's a lot of fun to have them around. The squirrels and the birds and everything is lovely. I love my hummers. I usually get about a dozen a year. Best of all, the family comes together around the fire pit. On cool evenings, we'll fire it up and have some s'mores, sit around and listen to music and just chat and hang out. And it also teaches me about love and the things and ways that people show love. I have this lovely bench I'm sitting on. My husband managed to find it somewhere along the side of the road and stuffed it in his tiny little car and brought it home to me because he knew I would enjoy it. And if you knew my husband, he absolutely does not like to mow around anything. So if he's bringing me home a bench that he has to mow around every single time, that's love. So even if gardening is not your thing and you might have other hobbies or passions or interests, really sit down and think about it. You'll find that those hobbies and interests and even your jobs can teach you a lot about life and love and patience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherry.